Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. The time is 9 a.m. The adjourned regular meeting of the following will come to order. The Victorville City Council and the same council also sitting as the Victorville Library Board of Trustees, Southern California Logistics Rail Authority, Southern California Logistics Airport Authority, successor agency to the redevelopment agency, the City is Housing Assets successor, Joint Powers Financing Authority, and the Victorville Water District. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Becerra.
Here.
Councilmember Gomez. Mayor.
Good morning.
Mayor Pro Tem Irving.
Present.
Mayor Jones.
Point of order, if I'm trying to speak and my mic is off, if someone can give me the opportunity to respond, I feel very disrespected when I'm just bypassed. Thank you.
Okay, so Member Gomez, we all heard you say present, and that's a point of privilege, not a point of order.
Well, then a point of privilege would be, you can't hear me because I didn't even hear myself and I heard the clerk going on, and that's very disrespectful
Moving
to a
on, we
city
all heard
council
you.
member.
All right.
So as a
moving on.
point of order, I'd like to make that as part of the record, and I appreciate the absolute no interruption. Thank you very much.
So Member Gomez was out of order. The point is not well taken. It was not a point of order. And
You cause disturbance when you say all of this. You know that. That's your point of order. Thank you.
everyone.
It's too early for this shit.
Okay.
No cussing in the
so
courtroom, I think, right?
for quorum, we have
Right,
the
it
pastor
is,
with us.
it is legal. So you can speak, but I can't. You don't get shut up, but I do. Exactly. Chair needs to put order in here
Ladies.
to all council
Ladies.
members, not just Blanca Gomez. Thank you.
All right, we're now going to do the invocation. As we have no pastor with us here this morning, the chair is going to lead us in prayer. Please rise if you can. Good morning, Lord. It's a glorious day, and we pray that you will create in us a clean heart worthy to praise you. May we think on those things that are true, noble, right, lovely, admirable, excellent, and praiseworthy, so that our focus can be on you and you working in our lives that would be yielding and loving to one another. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And Pledge of Allegiance by Captain Wickham. Here we go.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Captain Wickham. All right, Madam Clerk, will you please present the agenda, any revisions there too?
Madam Mayor, there are no revisions to the agenda as it was presented yesterday evening.
Yes, all right. And conflict of interest declarations, members? Hearing, seeing none, we're moving on. Madam Clerk, before I do the introduction to public comments, are there requests to speak?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
All right, with that said, well, welcome to this morning's meeting of the Victorville City Council. Your city council is interested in your ideas and opinions. Furthermore, endeavors to incorporate them into its deliberations. At the same time, the council must be able to carry out its business in an organized and efficient manner, free from material disruption. Therefore, this meeting will be administered in accordance with the council's established policies and procedures in Government Code Section 54957.9. Individuals may speak on, for this morning on the public, excuse me, I take that back because this is an adjourned regular meeting. So individuals may speak on agenda items or on issues not posted on the agenda during the public comment section, providing those issues are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Individual speakers may address the council once per public comment period and once per each public hearing item for up to 3 minutes. Additional time may be allocated for appeal hearings in accordance with the city's adopted policy and procedures manual. All testimony is to be directed solely to the council. Open meeting laws do not permit council members to engage in dialogue during the public comment periods. The presiding officer may briefly respond or have staff respond to statements or questions, or may request that the staff report back to the council at a subsequent meeting. Comments and questions may be taken into consideration by council members when the item. Speakers are requested to comment as briefly as the subject permits. Individual council members who speak as a member of the public do so without the semblance or presumption of authority derived from his or her public office. Whether attending this meeting in person or via Zoom, once comments are invited, the speaker will be called on by name, then recognized by the presiding officer. The speaker will state the item number that will be addressed or that the subject is a non-agendized matter. Audience members may not disrupt, disturb, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of the meeting. Those who do are subject to removal from the meeting pursuant to Penal Code 403. Your understanding and cooperation are appreciated. Madam Clerk, any in-chambers requests?
Yes, Madam Mayor, Lizette Angulo.
Thank you. Ms. Angulo, welcome.
Good morning. I'm just here to say.
Good morning.
Can you make sure, and I'm sure it was an oversight, that the door is unlocked? I was out there for 10 minutes knocking on the door. It was still locked.
Thank you. May I ask, was that last night or this morning? I'm sorry? This morning? Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Our next speaker is Chef Basil.
Thank you. Mr. Kimbrough, welcome.
We can, so this is public, this is,
This is the public comment period.
okay,
So you can speak on items within the subject matter jurisdiction.
all right, I'll be quick. Mayor, Chair, and all the council people. We just want to, my wife and I just want to say thank you for the hard work that you've done. Our attorney Rafferty has done an outstanding job, especially when it comes to putting up with me and other people, all of us collectively, but he's done a great job keeping us all together, getting all the data. I also want to thank Paul Mitchell for all the good work that he's done. As you know, he's one of the best in the state of California. This has been a long road for all of us. I remember when my wife first thought about this, she was actually the creator of getting everybody together, say, hey, let's try to do this in district. So I have to give her a lot of credit as well. And all the volunteers and all the members and people who are out in the community, the pastors, the churches. This is something big for us, and it was just a combination. It showed that of all racial backgrounds, people can come together. So again, I just want to thank all you council people for, dealing with us and holding on, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kimbrough. Ms. Gomez.
Yes, I'm during public comment want to speak. I laugh at Mrs. Jones because Ms. Angulo was so clear when she stated, please have the door this morning open. It was closed. But this is so typical behavior of our administration and higher up directors and what we see on the rights and lefts of our sides to keep these doors locked so that people do not come in. But this is very typical for a councilwoman to feel. But when we start having the general public wanting to participate, this is wrong. Okay, you will not see it like that because you have a card where you have access to City Hall where you can come in through the back, through the side, so you will never see stuff like that. But if you're being chastised as a council member, you will definitely see that. So it's called workplace harassment. And this is what it is. And I've placed 2 claims and I've CC'd the city manager and also the person who has HR. No response has been allotted to me. And I'm putting this on placement comment. But the other thing that's really bothering to me is you're beginning to do it more noticeably to the general public. You can't be doing stuff like that to the general public. If you do it to me, it's a different thing because I put up with it. But when you start doing it to the public, which I represent, just like you do, but you have differential placement and treatment, it becomes an issue because now we're all corroborating to conspire to commit a crime against the general public. And then we start using our PD and we start laughing like Liz Becerra, which the cameras are right here. And because the cameras are not focused on Ms. Becerra, we can't see her jeering, mocking gesture. You have to play the poker card, Mrs. Jones. And I don't know what card you're playing, ma'am, but I have to come up here and voice the concerns of the people because that's what essentially is happening. And so another concern that a lot of the members have that have contacted perhaps you or myself is that there's a misunderstanding of how this process is really taking place. We hear that the process is procedural and a lot of the questions have supposedly been answered, but there's still a lot of misconception. Why are we having a meeting today? Is it potentially possible to have an extra change of any sorts? And if not, can that be cleared every single time? Because obviously I'm not the only one that has these questions. We started off with a resolution and a resolution differs from an ordinance legally speaking. And I was informed yesterday that I could not speak on the resolution because now I know it's an ordinance. So we need clarity. And yes, I have 35 seconds. Ma'am, as Becerra, you keep looking at the clock. We acknowledge that you have been, and it's a waste of your time. No, I can dictate what's happening during public comment. You are not allowed to be taking my First Amendment right, Mrs. Jones, because this is public comment. And if I want to sing a song, you cannot interrupt me either. That is not called decorum. And yes, it is. So anyways, we need clarification, resolution, ordinance. Can we create changes if we wanted? What the attorney, if he can definitely speak on to that. There's a lot of misconception now.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez. Yes.
Mr. Metzler, this door in question has been locked since the beginning of COVID, correct?
That is correct. During normal work days and work hours, these doors here in the front are closed. Apologies for the individual having to wait. However, we do not deny access. Actually, all public access is provided at 8 a.m. In the other public entrance, which is the entrance to the customer service area. And we do that to control flow of individuals through City Hall.
So we do make an apology that there probably could have been a note or something put on the door saying other doors are open, but the doors were open in the sense in the middle where customer service is. It had nothing, no conspiracy, no. So we do
certainly no conspiracy. That is correct.
We do apologize to the public. It was no malintent. The other doors were open. Oversight on our part. We apologize.
Yeah, and I, as a point of order, I would also like to make the same question. Mr. Metzler, actually, I tried to enter that
Gomez has
second door
not
that you
been
said was locked,
Eyes
I mean,
and will
open,
bring
and
herself
it's
to
locked as
order.
well.
This
So
is
the
not
apology
a-
goes for both doors, and the other door is locked,
Member
just so you
Gomez will
know.
cease. We're
Okay?
moving on.
I couldn't access entry unless I was knocking on that door.
All right, Madam Clerk, any other in-chambers requests to speak?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. With that said, that concludes the in-chambers public comment period. Do we have requests via Zoom?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Our first speaker is Scott Rafferty.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Rafferty. Mr. Rafferty, are you with us?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I put my hand down. I guess there will be an opportunity for public comment on the ordinance.
On the public hearing, yes, sir.
Okay, maybe it's more appropriate then.
All right,
Thank you very much. I'll suspend until that time.
you bet. Thank you, Mr. Rafferty. Madam Clerk?
Our next speaker is Galaxy A12.
Thank you. Good morning, sir or madam.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and Council. This is Maggie Martin. I don't even know where to begin. It might take my full 3 minutes just to compose my thoughts and spit out a sentence or two. But listen, I'm about over hearing Ms. Gomez speak as supposedly as a member of the public at that podium, when in reality, and this has been going on a long time and it needs to be put in check. In reality, she's talking as a council member. She identifies as a council member. She's not
Just
talking
like
as a
you
member
did,
of
ma'am.
the public. And
Member
don't interrupt
Gomez to
me.
suspend.
You will also bring correction to the speaker as you did to me in public comment. That's a
Member-
point of order.
The
So-
speaker has done nothing out of order.
The speaker has addressed Gomez like I addressed Becerra.
Madam Clerk, will you kindly mute Member Gomez's mic as she's refusing to bring herself to order and she's being combative during the meeting? Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And there again is another point. She gets mad when she gets interrupted by the chair when she's at the podium, but she just did it to me and she does it to anybody she chooses. And that includes public and on the dais. So let's not be a hypocrite there. Let's not be a hypocrite. Do as I say, not as I do. Rules for me, but not for thee. Let's get that part straight. I'm about over her ridiculous behavior. Over it. And talking about conspiracy to making
Member
allegations.
Gomez, this is not a point of order. State your point.
Well, if she can.
Member Gomez has not stated a point of order. She's not demonstrated a breach in the policy manual. The chair is facilitating this meeting in accordance with our policy and procedures and our order of rules of conduct and decorum. Please, audience member, I apologize. Please proceed.
No problem, Madam Mayor. Not at all. But that's just another point right there that I'm making. Talking about accusations towards the council about possible criminal intent or conspiracy. I think Ms. Gomez should focus on what's in her future with law. In other words, what's going on in her life, where she shouldn't be making accusations unless it's just a course to deflect away from her own wrongdoings. And we know there's plenty. We know there's plenty in the past. We know there'll be more to come. So look in the mirror before you start making accusations that are unfounded. You have no proof.
Ms.
as
Martin, please
usual.
make sure that you speak to the full of the council.
I am, Your Honor. So, yeah, so I heard just so much when she was talking about all of you. She's really talking about herself. That's what I say, look in that mirror. So there's a lot more, but I'm gonna let it go at that. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
There are no additional speakers.
Thank you. Will please set the timer for 30 seconds. Any Zoom member wishes to speak? Technical difficulties, this will give. Okay, it needs to be noted that Member Gomez has left her seat and the dais without the permission of the presiding officer as per our code of ethics.
Madam Mayor, 30 seconds has lapsed and there are no additional speakers.
Thank you. So with that said, the public comment period is now closed and the chair brings the item back to the council. We're going to move to our first and only business this morning, which is to further take up last night's public hearing item number 2. Mr. Metzler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Yes, this,
I'm sorry, my fault. So this, just for clarity, this is the second reading of ordinance 2422, establishing district-based city council elections and approving the district boundary map and sequencing of elections. Mr. Metzler.
yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the.
Gomez is back in her seat?
Member Gomez, this is not a point of order and she's not facilitating the meeting. She will bring herself to order. Mr. Metzler, I perceive we're going to go ahead and push through this since council member does not wish to bring regardless of any admonitions.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Yes, this is the final step. We're really at a procedural stage at this point in the process of transitioning from a general election system to a district-based election system that actually for us started back on September 27th of
Gomez is
this.
being disruptive. Madam Clerk, you will unmute the mic when I allow it. Thank you. Mr. Metzler.
A process that for us started on September 27th of this year, and to make sure that we have the safe harbor provisions of the election code perfected to us. We actually have a window of 90 days to complete this process, and I have to say we've accomplished a lot over the course of the last just shy of 90 days. We will actually complete this process after the results of today's vote to actually complete all the public processes of taking public testimony, conducting community workshops, conducting community outreach, and effectively participating with the public in the drafting of maps. We've seen the same maps since December 8th, since you as the council took action to give direction about a final map. And with that direction on December 8th, notwithstanding public testimony that's been received since then, there have been no changes to those maps. So effectively on September 16th, we actually had the first reading of the ordinance, which approves those maps to be, approves that final map to be your district election map. It also included numbering system for the districts. It also included a sequencing of those districts as to when they would be actually up for elections. So with that, all of the heavy lifting, all of the real work has been complete. And at this point in time, having already had the first reading of the ordinance. The second reading is what's being asked of you tonight. It's largely procedural. And from this point forward, presuming the council does approve the second reading, then everything from this point going forward will be administrative between us and the Registrar of Voters Office, with the expectation that your first district election for districts 2 and 4 will be in November of 2022. So with that, we do have our friends from Redistricting Partner on the line. They're not here to give a presentation, certainly available to answer any technical questions that perhaps us as staff or legal counsel can't answer. So with that, I'll yield back to you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Metzler. And Madam Clerk, I'm going to have you read the recommendation. It's very limited at this point. And I'm happy to do it if you would like. I know you weren't here last evening.
No, I can go ahead and take care of that.
Yes.
That your honorable city council will receive any remaining public comments, close the public hearing, adopt for final passage and second reading by title only, ordinance number 2422, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Victorville establishing district-based elections for city council members by amending Title II of the Victorville Municipal Code to add a new chapter 2.15, City Council District-Based Elections, and approve the district boundary map and sequencing of elections for city council members, and waive further reading in full of proposed ordinance number 2422.
Right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Member Gomez, state your point. Madam Clerk, will you unmute her mic?
Yeah, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So my point of order is when we're able to speak, can you stop muting or can you say that Blanca Gomez is in her seat? Because I don't know if you had the opportunity to do that. I know you said I left, but I didn't hear you say I came back.
It's not necessary. That's at the discretion of the chair, and your point is not well taken. Had
Okay,
you
so
not
it's discretion.
stated a breach in policy or procedure, your point's not
So
well
would you
taken.
cite that breach, please, so it's on the
Technical
record?
questions for clarification, beginning with.
Thank you. I know
Member
you were
Becerra.
wrong.
Member Becerra, questions? Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Member Gomez?
Would you repeat yourself?
Yeah, questions?
Questions in regards to?
The public hearing item as to Mr. Metzler's presentation.
Yes, I'm not stupid, Ms. Becerra. I heard you loud and clear. That's very disrespectful of you to do that.
We will follow the rules of decorum behind the dais.
I know.
Member
Stop saying
Gomez,
that.
move on.
You're on the record. Please stop that, Ms. Becerra. You're causing a
Yes.
disturbance right now.
Member Gomez?
I
The chair
can't
has-
concentrate and make a decision with Ms. Becerra. It's
Member Gomez,
distracting me from
Member Gomez
understand
would
what you're
stop
trying to
speaking.
ask me.
Might be easier.
You've
Move
asked me for a
on.
question.
Madam
I'm
Clerk,
going to
is the time-
respond.
Is the time on? Yes. thank
Okay,
you.
I'm going to respond. But when a council member disrupts my
Member
train of
Gomez,
thought,
you will
like
ask
Ms.
questions
Becerra
or we're
has
going to
done,
move on.
I cannot make
Okay.
a decision
Member
of what my
Gomez will
questions
bring
were.
herself to
These are
order.
placed on the record
On.
for when we go to trial.
Moving on,
Thank you.
The chair has.
So my first question was,
We
as
are
I
moving on.
repeated,
The
you're
member
interrupting me and I
refused
have time.
Order. The
You're
chair-
interrupting me and I have time.
The decorum of this
I'm
meeting.
trying to ask
We
my
are moving
questions.
on. The chair.
Okay,
as
I'm
this
trying to
public
ask my questions.
remained open from last night on public hearing item number 2. We're now going to take public testimony. Madam
Okay,
Clerk,
so
any
I would
request-
like to speak under public testimony as well after everybody from the,
Are there any requests
audience
from
has
chambers,
spoken.
Madam Clerk?
Chef, did you want to speak on this item?
Thank you.
There are no in-chamber speakers.
Thank
other
you.
than
Any
Councilmember
in chambers comments have concluded. Moving on. to
no, they
Zoom.
have not, because as a council member, I was able to speak. I told you I wanted to speak as a person of going outside out there and you've cut my,
I
time
did
to
not
speak
hear
twice.
that because the
of
screening
course
just
you
is
didn't hear
blurring
because you're
together.
ignoring me.
Member Gomez. if
Okay,
you
so I'm
would
gonna
like
ask
to
my
sit
question.
down to the
So
podium.
Mr. DeBernatz,
We're
my
not going
question
to
was
ask
for
it here.
you.
If you would like to speak
I
as a
don't
member of
understand
audience, you will
what
go
is
down to the
happening with the
podium.
resolution.
Madam
And
Clerk,
I want to understand how the
mute the
resolution
mic so that I
works.
can explain
So-
my ruling. So Councilmember Gomez is refusing to bring herself to order. She is causing a disruption in this meeting, and I apologize to our community, our businesses, and my colleagues and staff here at City Council. Madam Clerk, are there any requests to speak via Zoom?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Our
Thank
first
you.
speaker is Scott Rafferty.
Good morning, Mr. Rafferty, and welcome to our meeting.
Good morning. I just looked at your website and I saw the beautiful Christmas lights, which reminded me of a few things. I want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday. I look forward to my next trip to Victorville being pleasure, not business. And I hope no one forgets the prominence that you gave to district elections on your homepage. That was a real innovation, and I hope it's not lost. I think I'm reassured by what the city manager said. I've come to the view that 90 days is the right amount of time, because after that, the public kind of loses focus and sometimes the consensus unravels. But there's been some extra drama at the end of some of these processes about the ordinance process, which usually goes through on a second reading. And I don't care whether it's before or after the 90 days. And I try to tell people that, and nobody ever believes me, or some jurisdictions don't believe me. So they do urgency ordinances to get around the 5-day rule in 36.934. That's fine if they need to. But this goes into immediate effect as an election ordinance. That's another thing. People say it doesn't happen for another 30 days. It happens immediately under 36.937. And finally, just to make the process a little easier, the legislature passed 21601A last year, just so that you could do all of this by resolution. Because once you go through all these difficult votes, there really should be, it shouldn't be so technical and so complicated, because it has created some uncertainty. So I'm assuming there are no changes. I congratulate you again. I think this will work well for the city. I think it will improve the functioning of the council, hopefully make it more well-informed, but also more civil, because everyone will understand that people have their constituents to be accountable to, and they're a little different, and maybe you'll come to respect each other's position as the representatives of constituency that they may understand a little bit better than each of you. So those are my hopes, but despite the occasional drama, in some ways it's been a model process. You have done some innovations. I think it's a good map, and I congratulate you. So once again, happy holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Rafferty. Madam Clerk,
There are no additional speakers.
you'll please set the timer for 30 seconds in the event that any member from our Zoom audience wishes to speak and is having technical difficulties. This will allow time to overcome those challenges. I did, and thank you for that. Your point of privilege is well taken if our members from IT can handle that.
Madam Mayor, 30 seconds has lapsed and there's no additional speakers.
All right, with that said, the chair closes the public hearing and brings this item back to the council.
I'm sorry, there is a hand that just
Yes,
it
all right,
raised and went away.
certainly.
Galaxy A12.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Mayor and Council, once again. Listen, I did not watch the whole meeting last night, but I want to comment on something because it ties into today's meeting.
So I just want to make it very clear, we're during the public testimony and the public hearing, it has to be directly related to the item.
It is. I just take the long way getting there, but it is. I've enjoyed how smoothly this process has been worked through. A lot of hard work on everybody's part, and I commend you all for that. I certainly wouldn't want to be in your shoes. It's just a lot of work. But I've been online for the meetings, and I'm going, okay, everything is proceeding along. It looks like moving forward. And I don't know what happened between last night and today. And I don't understand why there's, and I agree with, maybe for a different reason, I'm not sure, but Mr. Rafferty made a comment about the drama. Yeah, we got a problem with that on the council. Yeah, the drama. but I don't understand the reason for it. It's like we're down to the wire on this item. We're down to the wire. Can't we just get there? Cut out and show respect for one another? Ladies, please, ladies, professionalism, respect, courtesy, decorum, and that
I'm going to
applies
bring you
equally.
back to the purpose of the public hearing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Madam Mayor.
I'm going to bring you back to the purpose of the hearing, please.
Yes. So I just want to see it come to completion as gently as possible. We're here. We're at the door. Let's walk through the door, close the door, and get on with life in Victorville. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
There are no additional speakers.
All right, with that said, the chair closes the public hearing and brings this item back to the council. Will the clerk please read the title of the ordinance?
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Victorville establishing district-based elections for city council members by amending Title II of the Victorville Municipal Code to add a new chapter 2.15, City Council District-Based Elections, and approving the district boundary map and sequencing of elections for city council members.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So at this time, the chair invites a motion to adopt staff recommendation.
Madam Mayor, I motion that we accept staff's recommendation.
Thank you.
Second, point of order, there's twice that I've been trying to speak and my mic has been muted and the chair has not requested a mute. I don't think that's
Member-
appropriate.
We can hear you.
Well, no, it was just unmuted. Thank you.
Not to my knowledge. So, all right, moving on.
Well, it is to mine.
discussion. Member Gomez will suspend. Discussion on
So
the
will
pending
you.
motion. All right, Member Gomez, discussion on the pending
Yeah,
motion.
were you able to say the first and second or is that later?
I already did that.
Okay, so what was your question?
This is discussion on the pending motion.
Yes, I do have discussion on the pending order. As a sitting council member here, I was not allotted during the public hearing to speak at all. I was interrupted.
We're on
and
the
that-
pending motion.
And that is part of the California Voting Records Act to allow individuals to contribute, and I was not able to contribute, and that's my discussion for this comment. I'm sorry, are you interrupting, Ms. Becerra?
Calling for a vote.
I hear sound noise, side noise. Okay, and that was my comment. Thank you.
Move on. All right, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you. Chair has no discussion on the pending motion. And discussion period is closed. Madam Clerk, take the vote, please.
Councilmember Becerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Gomez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Irving,
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. So the council has adopted staff's recommendation. With that said, that concludes our business for this morning. And the council members and anyone in the audience will vacate chambers within 10 minutes. That's 9:33. This meeting is adjourned.